to Anglesey for some more highlights from the THUNDERSPORT GB event. And next up we'll take a look at the 600s. Rob Hoyles cheerfully smiling there because apart from anything else he beat Gary May to pole position. Yes, Gary, unusual, isn't it? But there we are, have to bite on these things. Chris Mort, good to see him on the grid, and outside of that front row is Oliver Riley, and there we see Rob Hoyles getting down to it. Well, Ian, good pole position for Rob Hoyles, but can he make it stick in the race?
Yeah, Rob very pleased at finally beating Gary May to that front slot on the grid, and made sure he got a superb start as well, and headed Gary May around the opening laps. And a bit of a depleted 600 field, but Ben Broadway was out there battling as ever with Marty Lennon. And Cliffy Hamilton, we saw on the podium last time at Pembrey, got a very bad start. But once again in the 600s, it was all about these two, Rob Hoyles and Gary May. The Rob and Gary show. Oliver Riley didn't last long.
No, really got that all wrong. But yeah, Rob Hoyles, his performances, I think he's very pleased this latter part of the season. They just have got better and better. And frankly, if you're measuring yourself against somebody the likes of Gary May, you know you're improving if you can get ahead of him.
Yeah, so it was Rob Hoyles that took the victory. Gary May, suffering engine problems towards the end of the race, dropped back into the clutches of Chris Mort. And Chris Mort, sniffing one more step on the podium, just made it stick as they went across the line. Nothing Gary May could do about it. And that problem also keeping Gary out of the earlier GP1 race that we saw.
So James Powell then picked up 4th place, Cliffy Hamilton 5th, Carl Eiton in 6th, Ben Broadway 7th, and Richard Woolcott finishing in 8th.
Chris, 2nd place. It was very nearly 3rd, but just on the line. You just managed to sneak past. Tell us about it.
I think he'd give up a bit because he couldn't quite keep with Rob Hoyles. So I think he just settled himself. But like I said, a longer race seems to suit me, so I keep the pace going, and I managed to catch him. I just managed to pip him on the line, so I bet he's a bit devastated at the moment. But yeah, it was good. We had a good race.
Yeah, and that THUNDERSPORT 600 crown still not in the grasp of Gary May yet. He got the bike sorted out and was out in race 2. But again, it was Rob Hoyles that got away at the front, and Rob riding really well around this Anglesey circuit. Cliffy Hamilton got a much better start this time around and was able to tag on to the back of the leading group.
And Gary May was pushing very hard to catch Rob Hoyles, and it all went horribly wrong, and the bike spat him off there on the grass. Gary May has managed to finish most of the races this season, but that, you can just see over the top. And really lucky that that bike didn't hit Gary on the bounce across the grass there. Well, that left a rerun. Rob Hoyles once again well away from the start.
Yeah, and this time around no Gary May to worry about, so it was left to Chris Mort to take up the 2nd position. Oliver Riley in 3rd, hoping to stay on this time around, and Cliffy Hamilton once again another good start this time to put himself in with a chance of a podium.
Yeah, Cliffy, one of the visitors again from across the Irish Sea. Saw him down at Pembrey with his lady and his baby. Very happy bunch indeed. Chris Mort there, having had a good 2nd earlier, enjoying himself in this as well. But Rob Hoyles, really splendid turn of form, really from halfway through the season onwards. He's always looked likely to do this, and at Anglesey at last, everything looking up for him.
Yeah, I think that race at Snetterton where Gary May fell off and Rob won with the fastest lap really put his confidence up, and since then he's been a lot closer to Gary, and he's been in front of him pretty much all weekend. And Chris Mort was doing a good job in 2nd. Oliver Riley battling away with Cliffy Hamilton. Superb battle between these two for the whole race. And then in the closing stages, Cliffy managing to put a move on Oliver Riley and make it stick to get up into 3rd position.
And checker flag, and a very happy Rob Hoyles takes the win from Chris Mort. Cliffy Hamilton 3rd, Ollie Riley in 4th, Carl Eiton in 5th, Richard Woolcott 6th, and Ben Broadway in 7th. Rob Hoyles then taking the win from Chris Mort and Cliffy Hamilton.
Rob, 1st place in the THUNDERSPORT 600, and Gary dropped out of that as well, so that championship is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it's helped me out a little bit with Gary falling off. Obviously, you know, I wanted to have a bit of a fight with him to the end of the race, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, he came. I don't know what happened. So yeah, the restart, I kind of knew the lap times I needed to do and just tried to keep focused really and not make any mistakes, which is actually really hard. When I've got Gary chasing me, I'm just head down and I don't even think about anything. But with that situation, it was quite tricky. So kept myself focused and lucky enough I won it. So that was good.